Magandang araw sa inyong lahat and welcome once again to another pre-recorded video lecture for the subject NCM 107 or Concepts in Pediatrics. I am teacher Jeff Lay, a nurse midwife and a clinical educator, and I will be teaching you about the essential intrapartal newborn care guidelines. So please bring out your handouts and your ball pens so that you can follow along our discussion. Let us begin. In this video, I will be teaching you about the essential intrapartal newborn care guidelines or what we call EINC. These are steps or procedures that you need to perform upon the delivery of the baby. So what is the essential intrapartal newborn care about? When we say EINC, it refers to the immediate care that we provide to a newborn baby during the process of childbirth or immediately after birth. Ito po yung mga several na interventions and procedures that we perform to make sure that the child is healthy upon delivery, to make sure that the child's needs are tended upon delivery. These are a series of steps that we perform after the child has been delivered by the mother. You always have to remember that EINC is crucial for ensuring the well-being and health of the newborn. Ano ba yung mga kasali dito sa EINC guidelines natin? Number one is your immediate assessment of the neonate. We have already covered your APGAR scoring and vital signs. The next topic that we will be tackling is thermal management or what we call thermoregulation or keeping a neutral environment. In this series of videos, you will also learn how to properly manage the airway, stimulate the newborn, vital signs monitoring, umbilical cord care, provision of eye care or what we call CRIDS prophylaxis, giving vaccination, starting feeding or breastfeeding initiation, bonding or maternal and child relationships, documentation, communication, and lastly, resuscitation. Ito pong mga steps na to ay kasama lahat sa ating essential intrapartal newborn care guidelines. So like I said, we have already finished immediate assessment of the neonate, which is your APGAR scoring. We are already done with the vital signs monitoring of these neonates. And this video, we will be proceeding with thermal management or how we keep a neutral environment for our newborn babies. Lagi niyong tatandaan that newborn babies are prone to having hypothermia. Ibig sabihin nito, madali po silang ginawin because when we say hypothermia, it refers to a subnormal temperature of the neonate. So sir, bakit nga po sila mabilis ginawin? You always have to remember that there are three reasons why a newborn is prone to having hypothermia. Number one is that their hypothalamus is still immature or underdeveloped. Ano ba kasi yung reason kung bakit nagkaka-hypothermia yung bata kung yung kanyang hypothalamus ay underdeveloped? You have to remember that the hypothalamus is the thermoregulation center of the brain of the neonate. Ibig sabihin, yung hypothalamus po ng bata ang nagko-control sa kanyang katawan so that it can regulate its own temperature. Paano ba ito nangyayari? For us adults, for us na meron na po tayong mature na hypothalamus, our hypothalamus is able to control our temperature and regulate it on its own. Paano ba ginagawa yan ni hypothalamus? Like I said, the hypothalamus is the thermoregulation center of our body. Kung yung katawan po natin ay sobrang init sa loob, the internal temperature is already very hot, and the external temperature dun po sa kapaligiran natin or surroundings ay mainit din. So there is a possibility that our bodies will overheat. Ang gagawin ngayon ni hypothalamus is that it will signal the rest of your body to maintain a lower temperature para po mas mag-relax or mas maging cool yung katawan natin. Your hypothalamus will do its thing. So what will the hypothalamus do? It will signal your pores to open, and then it will also signal your body to sweat. Kaya po tayo pag naiinitan, nagsusweat po tayo para po may moisture sa ating katawan, and that will in turn lead to heat loss. Kaya po nare-regulate natin yung ating katawan kasi nakakalabas po yung init because of the hypothalamus. Ito po yung nagsisignal sa ating katawan to release some of the heat that is inside the body. Now, kung malamig naman po yung panahon, the hypothalamus can also guard against heat loss. Okay? So since malamig po yung environment, and there is a possibility na magkaroon ng hypothermia yung katawan natin, ang gagawin ng hypothalamus is it will signal our body to conserve heat. And how will it do that? Number one is magkuklose po yung mga pores natin. Kaya po tayo nagkakaroon ng mga goosebumps. Because when your pores are closed, there is minimal escape of heat na mangyayari. So, hindi po tayo magkakaroon ng hypothermia. Aside from that, your hypothalamus will also force your body to have chills. Kung maginaw po sa outside environment at giniginaw na po yung ating katawan, we also have chills. Bakit po tayo nagkakaroon ng chills or mga movements, jittery movements sa ating katawan? Because that movement alone, yung chills mo alone will also start generating heat. And pag nagge-generate po tayo ng heat, pag tayo ay nag-chills, so pa-prevent po yung hypothermia. So that's the reason why we are able to control our own internal environment and temperature because we already have mature hypothalamus. Ang problema po sa mga newborns or neonates is that their hypothalamus is still underdeveloped or immature. Ibig sabihin, walang kakayanan yung katawan ng newborns natin to regulate their own temperature. That's the reason why these newborns are prone to having hypothermia. Now, because newborns have immature hypothalamus, you can expect that all newborns or majority of them will be assuming the flexed position. Kasi nga po dahil sa hindi kaya ng katawan ng bata na i-regulate yung kanyang sariling temperature, yung mga newborns po natin, they will assume the flexed position or naka-fetal position po sila or in Ilocano nakakukot. Okay? Because when you assume that kind of position, it helps guard against heat loss because less skin surface is exposed to the environment. So, ibig sabihin nito, pag naka-fetal position ka or pag naka-flexed position ka, mas konti lang sa inyong skin surface ang naka-expose sa environment, kaya therefore hindi ka nagkakaroon ng hypothermia. So that's the reason why newborns will assume a flexed position po because their hypothalamus is still underdeveloped and their bodies are guarding against heat loss by preventing the exposure of too much skin surface on the environment. Now, pangalawang rason kung bakit po mabilis ginawin yung mga neonates natin is that they have less subcutaneous fats or adipose tissues. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Yung mga neonates natin, pinapanganak po sila na konti lang yung kanilang mga subcutaneous fats or taba. And yung fats na ito, necessary sa ating katawan because they will also help insulate our body by preventing cold from entering the body kasi the subcutaneous fats adds a layer of protection against cold. Dahil nga po pinapanganak na konti lang ang taba ng mga neonates, sila po ay mas prone to having hypothermia. Kasi nga, di ba, pag sinabi nila, kung ikaw ay mataba, hindi ka mabilis ginawin kasi you have a layer of protection against cold. Kaya po, yung mga newborns natin, since they have less subcutaneous or adipose tissues, they are prone to having hypothermia. Okay, so lagi nyong tatandaan that your subcutaneous or adipose tissues can also prevent heat loss. Okay? Now, ang pangatlong dahilan kung bakit they are prone to having hypothermia yung mga neonates natin is that they also have less stored brown fats. Ano nga ba itong mga brown fats na sinasabi natin? Ang mga brown fats po, they are necessary for heat production. Ano ba ang silbi niyan ng mga brown fats natin? Yung brown fats po, they are being burned by the body or metabolized by the body in order for the body to create its own heat or energy. Tayong mga adults po, we already have adequate amounts of brown fats. Kaya po, kaya po nating magpainit ng katawan if our environment is cold. Ang problema po sa mga neonates, they still have low levels of brown fats, kaya po hindi sila nakakapag-produce ng sarili nilang heat. And because of that, these neonates are prone to having hypothermia. A while ago, you learned the different reasons why the newborn is prone to having hypothermia. Ito po ay mga anatomical and physiological na problems po ng ating mga newborns at wala tayong magagawa doon kasi nga wala po tayong pwedeng gawin para mapabilis ang maturity ng hypothalamus. Wala din po tayong pwedeng gawin para kumapal yung taba ng bata because they are just born that way. And we also have no intervention to increase their less stored brown fats kasi nga po, they will accumulate these brown fats in time. So, hindi po natin talaga makokontrol itong mga reasons na ito why neonates are prone to having hypothermia. Pero ang makokontrol po natin is yung environment po ng bata. Okay? You have to remember that as nurses and midwives, we have the ability to fix the environment to prevent hypothermia in the neonate. So since hindi po natin ma-change yung nature ng bata, yung kanyang immature hypothalamus, kanyang konting subcutaneous fats, at yung kanyang konting brown fats, since we cannot do anything about that, we will work on our controllables. So ano ba yung mga makokontrol natin? The environment of the newborn. So we have to manipulate the environment and see to it that this newborn will not suffer from hypothermia. Now, paano ba tayo magbibigay ng warmth? Or how do we regulate the temperature of the neonate? And how do we maintain a neutral environment? Part po yan ng ating EINC guidelines or protocols. So bago tayo magpunta sa mga different ways or means on how we can control the environment of the neonate to make sure that it is adequate for them, kailangan muna nating malaman yung mga different methods of heat loss. Paano ba nawawala yung init sa katawan ng bata in the environment? Ang number one reason for heat loss po is convection. Ibig sabihin po niyan, yung heat po ng katawan ng bata pwedeng mag-escape if the body of the child is exposed to cold air. Kaya pwede po nating kontrolin ito. After the delivery of the neonate, pag pinanganak po yung bata, the first thing that you should do is to control the environment's temperature para po hindi magkaroon ng heat loss through convection. And how do you do that? Before the delivery of the newborn pa lang, pag lumalabas na yung ulo ng bata, you have to turn off the air conditioning unit. You also have to make sure na wala pong air draft or walang hangin na nakakapasok doon sa delivery room by closing all the windows and the doors so that heat loss through convection is already eliminated. Hindi po mawawalan ng heat yung bata because of the cold air or the cold environment. So, lagi niyong tatandaan ha, kapag cold air po yung reason or cold room po yung reason kung bakit nawawalan ng heat yung isang neonate, ang tawag po natin sa method of heat loss na yon ay convection. Now, the next method of heat loss is what we call conduction. Ang conduction naman po, it is the direct contact of a cold surface to a hot surface. So, ang mangyayari po, pag nag-contact itong dalawang ito, some of the heat from this hot surface will transfer to the cold surface. So, ang mangyayari, mawawalan po ng heat ito kasi magta-transfer doon sa cold surface. Ang tawag po natin kapag merong direct contact is conduction. Okay? A good example of this is cold hands. If the nurse or the midwife has cold hands, maginaw yung kanyang kamay, and then you are manipulating the child, you are mechanically touching the child, ang nangyayari po is yung init sa katawan ng bata, it is transferred to the cold hands of the nurse or the midwife. So what happens? Nagkakaroon ngayon ng hypothermia yung neonate kasi lumalabas po yung init ng katawan through direct contact or what we call conduction. Aside from that po, aside from cold hands, kung kayo ay magkikilo ng bata, you will be getting the weight of the child, okay? So, ang nilagay mo yung neonate sa isang timbangan or weighing scale na metal. Malamig yung metal na yon. If you place the newborn directly in contact with that weighing scale, heat from the newborn will transfer to the metal weighing scale. So, ang mangyayari, magkakaroon ng hypothermia yung bata. So, again, these things we can control. So, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, bago mo ilagay sana sa weighing scale yung ating ating neonate, you have to place a clean linen or the clean towel para po hindi magkaroon ng direct contact yung neonate mo and yung cold surface na yon. So by putting something in between the neonate and that weighing scale, at least walang direct contact na mangyayari, hindi magkaka-hypothermia yung bata. Sir, paano naman kung yung kamay namin ang malamig? Okay? What will we do? So what you can do is you can rub your hands before touching the neonate para po ma-eliminate nyo po yung cold hands that will come in contact with the neonate. So by doing those, ay naiiwasan po natin ang hypothermia. Another reason why neonates will have heat loss is through evaporation. Okay? Ang evaporation po is that if there is moisture on the hot surface, ang mangyayari, mag-evaporate po yung moisture na yon because of the presence of heat on that surface. So what will happen? Magkakaroon po ng heat loss doon sa hot surface na yon na may moisture because the heat will already evaporate. Now, nakikita natin ito from TSB. Okay? So mga patients natin na merong fever, nilalagyan natin sila ng tepid sponge bath, and what happens is moisture is left on the skin of that patient with fever. So dahil sa init ng kanyang katawan, nilagyan mo ng moisture, mag-evaporate po. Okay? And that will now decrease the temperature of that patient with fever. Okay? So that is an example of evaporation. Yung mga neonates po naman natin, they also will have heat loss through evaporation because remember that these neonates will be born wet. Sila po ay lalabas na basa because they are covered in amniotic fluid. So, ibig sabihin, kapag basa silang lumabas, what will happen is that it can lead to evaporation of the amniotic fluid, decreasing the temperature of the neonate. So, pwede po silang magka-hypothermia kapag hinahayaan po natin sila na wet yung kanilang skin surface at hindi po natin sila pinupunasan, mag-evaporate po yung amniotic fluid and mawawalan din po yung heat sa katawan ng bata. So, what can we do as midwives and nurses? We have to dry the neonate immediately after delivery. Dapat po wina-wipe dry natin yung ating mga bagong silang na sanggol para po hindi mag-evaporate yung kanilang mga heat sa katawan so that they will not experience hypothermia. Now, ang last reason po kung bakit meron tayong heat loss is what we call radiation. Dito naman sa radiation, kabaliktaran po ito ng conduction. For conduction, as I said a while ago, there is direct contact with the cold surface and the hot surface, kaya merong heat transfer. Dito naman po sa radiation, indirect contact po ang meron. Okay? So sometimes, may mga metal equipment po tayo sa ating mga delivery rooms. Okay? So example, there is a metal or steel cabinet. Yung bassinet nyo or crib ng bata is also metal. So imagine no, nakahiga yung bata. And then, on that bed, meron po siyang railings or meron po siyang mga metal na rails doon. And then the child is situated in the center of the bed. Even if the child does not come in contact with the cold railings, okay, kahit na hindi po natatouch nung bata yon, because that railing is made of metal at nag-absorb po yan ng ginaw, it will radiate cold towards the baby. So kahit hindi po yan nagtatouch, pinapaginaw po ng cold railings na ito yung temperature ng bata. So that is heat loss through indirect contact. Okay, an example of that is the bassinet, kunwari, or yung crib is near the aircon. So dahil sa malapit yung bassinet or yung crib sa aircon, nag-absorb po yun ng ginaw. So maginaw na din po yung crib or yung bassinet. You place the child there. Even if the child does not come in contact with the railings of the bassinet or the crib, dahil nga po sa malamig yung metal na yon, lalamigin din yung bata sa loob ng crib. So that is what you call radiation. Now, when there is heat loss, pwedeng bumaba yung temperature ni neonate. So what will happen? There will be hypothermia or what we call subnormal temperature that is common in neonates. So our responsibility as midwives and nurses is to guard against heat loss. So ituturo ko ngayon ang mga pwede nating gawin inside the delivery room so that we can prevent hypothermia in our patients. As mentioned earlier, it is one of our responsibilities as nurses and midwives to thermoregulate the neonate or make sure that they are in a neutral environment. Lagi niyo pong tatandaan na prone po sila sa hypothermia and dapat po ay nire-regulate natin yung ating environment para po hindi nagginawin yung ating mga neonates. So we now go to your methods of thermoregulation. Ano ba yung mga pwede nating gawin so that we can prevent hypothermia from occurring in our neonate? Now, number one that we can do is immediate thorough drying. Ito po yung EIENC guidelines natin na number one dapat nating ginagawa after the delivery of the newborn. You have to remember that the newborn is born wet because of the amniotic fluid, and if you do not immediately thorough dry the newborn, there will be heat loss through evaporation. So, according to your essential intrapartal newborn care guidelines, kailangan po nating magbigay ng immediate thorough drying sa ating mga pasyente. So, how are we going to do that? Number one, we have to dry the newborn thoroughly for at least 30 seconds using a clean, dry linen. So, ibig sabihin nito, kapag kayo po ay magka-catch or mag-a-assist ng delivery ng isang neonate, you already have to have 2 linens. Kailangan mo ng 2 clean linens. Number 1, the first linen that you will use is to dry the newborn thoroughly for at least 30 seconds. Okay? So, dapat po pinupunasan natin immediately yung bata para po hindi siya magkaroon ng heat loss through evaporation. Now, while you are already thoroughly drying the neonate, while pinapa-dry mo na po yung bata, you have to do a quick check for breathing while drying. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Kapag napunasan mo na po yung bunganga at yung ilong ng bata and we are already drying the neonate, you already have to check kung humihinga ba yung bata or hindi. Okay? So if the child is already breathing, then you can just continue drying the neonate. Pero pag hindi, mayroon akong ituturo din sa inyong mga ibang procedures. So, while drying the neonate, the next step is to do a quick check if the child is breathing or not. Now, lagi niyong tatandaan, na 95% of all newborns, almost all po sila, they breathe normally after birth. Ibig sabihin, pag well baby po ito, you can expect the majority of them ay spontaneously na makakahinga while you are drying them already. No need for oxygenation, no need for suctioning, intubation. They can breathe on their own normally. Okay? As long as you are keeping them dry. Okay? The next thing that you need to do while thoroughly drying the neonate is to follow an organized sequence. Dapat po pag nagwawash po tayo ng ating mga patients or we are drying them is that we follow an organized sequence para po malinis at maayos po yung ating pagpupunas sa kanya so that we can remove we can ensure that we have removed all amniotic fluids in our patients. So what should you do? Number 1 is you have to wipe the mouth for any secretion and then wipe the nose for any secretion. And then after that, irarab mo na po yung likod ng bata. Okay? Bakit? Kasi po, when you rub the back of the child, it will stimulate the neonate to cry. At alam po natin that crying is a surest sign of breathing. So pupunasan po muna natin yung nandun sa bunganga, pupunasan po natin yung nandun sa ilong so that pag nag-rub na po tayo sa likod ng bata at umiyak yung baby, there will be no aspiration that will occur. So, lagi nyong tatandaan, wipe the mouth first and then wipe the nose and then proceed to rubbing the back to stimulate the neonate to cry. At pag nakaiyak na po yung bata, we can now start with our cephalocaudal drying of the neonate's body, or we will start with the head, going to the trunk, to the upper extremities, to the lower extremities, and last po yung genital area ng ating mga pasyente. Bakit po last yung genital area? Because there's a possibility that during the delivery or immediately after delivery, the newborn may pass meconium or the newborn may pass urine. So maaaring yung newborn po nakaihi or nakatae na po, and kung yung genital area yung inuna mo na punasan, you will be spreading the urine and the meconium on the different parts of the body if you start with the genitals. So, dapat po ay mag-start po tayo sa mouth and nose to make sure na walang secretions para pag pinaiyak mo while you rub the back, ay hindi po siya magkaroon ng aspiration. And then magsecephalocaudal ka po na drying because you want to start from the cleanest to the dirtiest part of the body of the neonate. Okay, so yan po yung step 3 natin in your essential intrapartal newborn care in immediate thorough drying. Ang pang-apat po is you have to remember to wipe the child's skin gently. Dapat po ay hindi po kayo vigorous na mag-wipe or else is pwedeng ma-irritate yung skin ng bata which will now also lead to infection. So wipe gently and do not wipe off the extra vernix caseosa. Ibig sabihin po natin ay dati, ang ginagawa po namin is we remove the vernix caseosa completely. Ang ginagawa po namin noon is kinukuha namin yung neonate and then we place them on a crib. Ang ginagawa is we add baby oil on the skin of the child and then try to remove all vernix caseosa. At pag yung bata po ay wala ng vernix caseosa na oil bath na po namin sila, ang ginagawa namin is pinapaliguan ulit namin yung bata. So nagfo-full bath po siya immediately after birth. Pero according to your EINC guidelines, hindi na po pwede na tinatanggal natin immediately yung vernix caseosa, tinatanggal or wina-wipe out, hindi na po yan pwede. Why? Because in your EINC guidelines, we do not wipe off the vernix caseosa because it has antibacterial properties. According to research, meron po palang silbi ang vernix caseosa and it can ward off possible infections or microorganisms that come in contact with the skin of the child because the vernix caseosa has antibacterial properties and it is also known to be a good insulator. So, ibig sabihin, kaya pala hindi tinatanggal si vernix caseosa kasi pinapainit nito yung katawan ng neonate and it also prevents infection brought about by microorganisms kasi meron din itong antibacterial properties. Still on the topic of immediate thorough drying, after spreading the vernix caseosa on the skin of the patient and drying them with the linen, ang next na gagawin nyo po is you have to remove the wet cloth that you have already used for drying the neonate and then replace it with a dry one. Okay? So, ang gagawin mo po is itatapon mo or i-discard mo na po yung wet linen na nagamit mo na to wipe off the amniotic fluid and the extra vernix caseosa and then you place it on the floor and then i-replace mo na siya with a dry one and make sure po na hindi nababasa ulit yung bata. Because useless po that you wiped dry the child kung dun lang naman sa katabi ng bata ilalagay mo yung wet na linen. So, giginawin pa rin yung bata if you do that. So, always remember to remove the wet cloth away from the child and then replace it with a dry one if necessary. Ang next po na gagawin ninyo is you have to check again if the baby is breathing or not. If the baby is not breathing, kag nagda-dry ka, hindi pa rin po siya humihinga, you can already start stimulating the child to cry by drying the newborn. Ibig sabihin, pag hindi pa rin humihinga yung bata, you just continue to rub the back of the neonate. I-rub nyo lang po gently yung likod niya so that the secretions from the mouth and the nose will be expelled by the neonate and then that neonate will now start to breathe when the newborn will start to cry. So, ang pag-stimulate po natin para huminga yung bata is by rubbing the patient's back gently. So, pag hindi humihinga yung bata, you have to stimulate by drying. Next, hindi na po uso yung ginagawa ng mga dati-dating mga doktor, mga nurses and midwife na kung gusto nilang paiyakin yung bata is that they slap the child or they shake the child. Hindi na po uso or hindi na po pwede yung mga ginagawa natin yon because those are too harsh to the child. So, hindi po siya magandang practice kasi ang first emotion na mararamdaman po ng bata paglabas niya sa sinapupunan ay pain or pighati. Hindi naman po pwede or hindi naman po tama yon. So the best thing that you need to do if you want the child to cry is to not hurt them by slapping them and shaking them vigorously. Hindi po. Ang gagawin nyo lang is rub the back of the neonate. That's how we make them cry. Next, number 9, do not ventilate unless the baby is floppy or limp or if the child is not breathing after 2 to 3 minutes of drying. Ang ibig sabihin nito, there is no need for you to give oxygen to that newborn who is not breathing kung siya naman ay hindi floppy or limp. Ang ibig sabihin po, kung meron siyang magandang muscle tonicity, there is no need for you to ventilate or give oxygen. The only time po na pwede tayong magbigay ng oxygen sa baby is if they are flaccid or floppy or limp. But if they are not breathing, pwede pong i-rub lang natin sa kanilang likod para sila ay huminga. Next, there is no need also to suction. Okay? Dati-dati ang ginagawa namin, pagkalabas ng bata, sinasuction po namin yan agad. With or without secretions that are visible, sinasuction pa rin yan kasi routine po yan. Routine. Part ng routine po ng magpaanak ang mag-suction. But now, we do not do that anymore. Do not suction unless the mouth and the nose are visibly blocked by secretions. Ibig sabihin, kung wala ka namang nakikitang secretions sa bunganga at ilong at lumalabas naman po yun ng kusa, there is no need to suction the neonate immediately. Bakit? Because like I said, 95% of neonates can breathe normally if you just dry them. Okay? So no need to suction routinely. Still in the context of delayed bathing, if your hospital or your clinic does not have any thermometer to check the water kung saan papaliguan mo yung bata, you can use the elbows when testing the temperature of the water. So if it's too hot for you, then dagdagan mo ng maginaw na tubig, or if it's too cold for you, dagdagan mo ng mainit na tubig. Ang importante po ay tamang-tama dapat para sa'yo yung temperature ng tubig ng bata, and you can determine that without thermometer by using your elbows in checking the temperature of the water. You have to remember then that you have to do bathing before feeding. Ibig sabihin, papaliguan muna natin yung bata bago natin po sila i-feed. Okay? Bakit po? Because we want to prevent spitting up or vomiting and even possible aspiration. So, ang ibig sabihin yan, ayaw po nating busog yung bata or maraming laman yung kanyang stomach. Because during bathing, you will be manually positioning the child from supine to prone. So, pinapaliguan mo po siya. Pag puno po yung kanyang stomach, nagagalaw po yon. It can lead to spitting up, vomiting, and it can also lead to possible aspiration. We don't want that to happen. So, ang gagawin po natin is that we do bathing. Paliguan muna natin yung bata bago natin sila i-feed. Okay? So, next, you have to make sure that the equipment that you will be using, including your basin, washcloth, soaps that are hypoallergenic, the towels, clean diapers, and all clothing should be assembled beforehand. Dapat po, dun sa wash area, assembled na po lahat ang mga ito before taking the baby away from the mother. Ang pangit naman po kung kinuha mo muna yung bata away from the mother, and then, saka ka lang nag-assemble ng mga equipment. So, ibig sabihin, giginawin na po yung baby, doon kakahintay na ma-assemble mo lahat ng mga equipment and material necessary for initial bathing. So, dapat po, ma-assemble po muna lahat ng kailangan before taking the baby out of the mother to prevent hypothermia. Still in the context of bathing, when you are washing the neonate, you have to follow a specific manner. So, gaya po ng drying natin kanina, you also have to clean from the cleanest to the dirtiest area of the body. So, you have to wipe the face first and then proceed with the head, the trunk, the extremities. Always last po yung diaper area because again, the child may already have passed meconium and urine, at kung yun po yung iuuna mo, mag-spread po lang yan on the different parts of the body. So, you have to clean the baby or wash the baby from the cleanest to the dirtiest areas of their body. Next po, when you are washing the eyes of the child, you have to wipe from inner to outer canthus using the washcloth. So kung pupunasan mo po yung mata ng bata, you have to wipe from the inner to outer canthus of the eye. Bakit? Because if in the event na meron pong infection dito sa isang mata, you want to prevent the contamination of the other eye. So, ang gagawin po is you wipe from inner canthus to outer canthus. Okay? Para po hindi kasi ang gagawin mo is pag outer canthus to inner canthus, pwedeng mag-introduce ka ng droplet or ng splashes papunta sa kabilang mata, and that will also contaminate the other eye pag outer to inner canthus po yung gagawin yung pag-wipe. So it's always inner to outer canthus using a washcloth to prevent contamination of the other eye. Pag gagamit po pala kayo ng operational sponge or OS na pag-wipe, tapon po agad or discard para po hindi nyo nako-contaminate yung other eye. Kasi parang ang dugyot naman po pag ginamit nyo dito, and then gagamitin nyo din po sa kabila, din nag-spread lang po kayo ng infection. Okay? So always remember not to use soap on the face of the child along with their palms and the soles of the foot, because these soaps can be allergic to these soaps can be allergens for the baby. The baby may become allergic to them because they can be irritants. Okay, pwedeng malakas masyado yon, irritating for them. So, hindi po natin gagamitan ng sabon yung mukha, the palms, and the soles of the foot. Aside from that, you can hold the child using what we call the football hold. Sa football hold po, we hold the infant with one arm. The head is rested on the palm of your hands, and then your armpits will clip the feet of the child so that the other hand can already wash the different parts of the body. Ang tawag po natin doon ay football hold. Now, apart from that, we can also concentrate on the creases and the skin folds where milk may become accumulated. So, yung bata po, pag sila po ay dumududo or nagdedede, pwede pong nagre-regurgitate sila or pwede po silang mag-spit up. Yung mga milk po pwedeng dumaloy behind their ears, on their neck. Kaya kailangan pong tinatanggal po natin yon. Because if you do not remove those excess milk that are lodged on the creases or the skin folds of the baby, it can lead to lactic acid production at pwede po yung mag-cause sa rashes. Okay? Kaya ayaw po natin magkaroon ng rashes yung bata. So we have to clean them. We have to concentrate these creases or skin folds where milk may be accumulated. Aside from that, lagi nyo din pong tatandaan na after your initial bathing, pag pinaliguan mo na po yung bata, there should be no more full bath after. Okay? So, bakit hindi na po pwede tayong magbigay ng full bath after tayo nag-initial bathing? Because we do not want to wet the cord. Ayaw po nating maging wet yung cord after ng initial bathing because we want to promote drying and we also want to prevent infection. The more na nababasa po kasi yung cord ng patient natin, the more that it will not fall off at the more din po na hindi po yan matatanggal, the more din po na prone yan sa infection. So, we do not want to wet the cord. We just want to air dry the cord. So, ibig sabihin, pag yung first 6 hours, pinaliguan mo na yung bata, after ng 7 to 10 days, pag nag-fall off na yung cord, dun mo pa lang siya pwede ulit bigyan ng full bath. So, anong gagawin namin for the rest of those days na nakakabit pa yung cord? You just have to do half bath lang po or sponge bath so that we can prevent wetting the cord to prevent infection and to promote drying. Lagi niyong tatandaan ha, the more na dry po yung cord ng pasyente, the more po na mas mabilis po yung mag-fall off or matanggal. Next, you have to wipe the female vulva from front to back. Bakit? Because we want to prevent contamination of the vagina from the fecal matter. Kasi imagine mo, no, from back to front ka, you will already be introducing fecal matter to the vagina if you wipe that way. So you always have to wipe from front to back to prevent contamination and possible infection of the vagina. Next, do not use powders and strong soaps because they can also lead to allergic reactions. Lalo sa mga powders po, they are chemically proven to cause asthma to the patients and even cancers. Kasi meron pong talc or talcum yung mga powders, kaya po yan yung nagkukos ng mga health problems sa ating mga pasyente. So powders and strong soaps are not recommended for our patients. Lagi niyong tatandaan na, no, yung mga bata, kung maitim man yan, huwag niyong gagamitan ng Kojic na sabon para lang pumuti, okay? So they will have their own time to improve their skin color na gumamit ng mga strong soaps na yan pag sila ay tumanda na. Pero hindi po pwedeng gamitan ng Kojic or Rosmar Cagayaco or any man na mga sabon na malalakas yung mga patients natin who are neonates. Now, let's be clear. Paano ba ginagawa kasi ang skin-to-skin contact? Like I said, after the delivery of the baby is dried immediately. So, we dry the newborn at once using a towel. And then, after drying the newborn completely, we wrap and cover the baby. Okay? So, ilalagay na natin yung bonnet ng bata. And then, irarap na din po natin siya ng isang dry na linen or towel din along with the mother. So, iba-blanket na po natin sila parehong mag-ina. And then we also can expose the baby in either floor lamps or radiant warmers kung siya ay mas giniginaw pa. So habang nandun po siya sa chest ng mother, we can also add a radiant warmer para po mas uminit yung katawan ng bata. And remember din po na during the skin-to-skin contact, we place the newborn on the parent's arms as long as breathing is already stable. So, ibig sabihin po nito, pwede po nating i-keep yung bata doon for 1 hour and a half as long as breathing is already stable or nakakahinga na po yung bata. Pwede na po tayong mag-start ng skin-to-skin contact. Pero kapag yung bata po ay hindi nakakahinga at medyo siya ay cyanotic or by bluish discoloration, ang gagawin po muna natin is we have to establish the breathing of the child and then proceed to skin-to-skin contact. Again, maganda po ang skin-to-skin contact because it can conserve heat and promote bonding while also initiating breastfeeding. Ang last method po natin to prevent heat loss or to prevent hypothermia is what we call kangaroo care. Ang kangaroo care naman po is done to insulate the baby using the bodily heat of another individual. So it is not only limited to the mother, it may be done by any other relative. Now, aside from heat conservation, it also allows for bonding with the neonate with the other members of the family. So, the neonate's chest are exposed. So, gaya din po sa skin-to-skin contact, yung bata po, tatanggalin natin yung kanyang damit dito, i-expose yung kanyang chest. And then, the mother will also sit in a comfortable position, preferably reclined position. And then, the chest of the mother or the relative will also be exposed. And then, pag didikitin po natin yung chest ni mother and yung chest ni baby, the neonate's chest is placed directly in contact with the exposed chest of the mother. And then, both the mother and the neonates are given a blanket to cover them along with the bonnet, the baby. And then, dito po sa kangaroo care, an expandable bandeau brasier may also be used in the care of the baby. Okay, and the mouth and the nose of the baby should also be still visible to the mother to ensure that the child is breathing. Ibig sabihin, dapat po ay nakikita ng nanay na meron na nandun yung butas ng bibig at ilong ng bata. Kasi if not, kung nakaganon lang po siya sa suso, the child may become suffocated. So, hindi po pwede yon. So, the mouth and the nose of the baby should be visible to the mother to ensure that the child is still breathing during your kangaroo care. So, ito po yung tinatawag natin na kangaroo care na bandeau tube. So, ilalagay po lang ni mother dyan and then dun isusuksok yung bata, kaya siya tinawag na kangaroo care. And like I said a while ago, it can also be done or performed by other members of the family. So like dito po, pwede ginagawa din po siya ng tatay. At dyan na po nagtatapos ang ating pre-recorded video lecture for the subject NCM 107 or Concepts in Pediatrics. We learned about the EINC guidelines a while ago and we focused on thermoregulation. On our next video, we will be finishing the other procedures that are included in the EINC guidelines. Again, maraming salamat for watching and have a great day.